6 months after my maternity leave, I was offered a full-time job, and it was in my previous profession, but it involved me putting my 20-month-old son now into full-time nursery, so 8 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock at night, every day, 5 days a week. And that isn't the reason I started a family. It wasn't something that I was familiar with, and it wasn't the way I was brought up. So then I'd always wanted to start a business, but this kind of possibly gave me the push to really investigate further what I would be going into and what I needed to do to get there. And so that's why, by chance, I came across the Creation Station, because there just wasn't anything available like this in my area. And I decided that I would have taken my little boy to something like this, so why can't I be the one offering it to others in the area?
Nice. I sort of went to the Discovery Day in January, and that just came off the back of an email made from Mums, I think it was. And so I decided just to sign up for the nearest Discovery Day, which was Worcester. But I'd taken 6 years off because I had Eleanor and was made redundant at the same time. So I'd enjoyed this lovely period of 5 years, with pregnancy and counting. So it's almost 6 years being pregnant and having Eleanor, and then started to think, wow, I've got to get back into work soon. What on earth am I going to do? So I tried, I'm still doing it actually, helping out in school, volunteering to see if I wanted to do the TA route, because that matched the school hours. And then it was like a light bulb moment when I saw the email and thought, hang on, I could do something really interesting, because I'd loved all the classes I did with her, and didn't realise I was even a little bit creative until I sat down and did it with Eleanor. So I thought, well, I could be able to do that for other children and have my own work hours and not have to go back to a boss, because that worried me a little bit, going back and back to the bottom of the pile, really. It would have been for me, and starting again. Yes.
I think mine's quite similar. So my boy's 4 in May. We're going to throw a party for him. So for me, I started looking quite a while ago into the TA route because I wanted to work with children. So I actually started my CFB Award 3 in teaching assistant for schools, and found it difficult to actually get into a school or do anything with the sort of child route. And I'm quite ambitious, so I like challenging myself, and I ended up finding that I was working at work in sort of a sales area and putting all this effort in and not seeing anything back from it. So I was inspired by an invitation for a party from one of my nieces, and thought, oh, this invitation looks really good. I'm going to have a little look on the internet, and thought, oh my God, they do franchises, and oh wow, this is something that I really want to do. And I thought, oh, working for myself, and like you said, being able to drop him off at school and pick him up, but also have that bit for me where I could challenge myself and go really far with it, but fit it in around Hayden, so I could go on holiday, and I could, we could take dogs for a walk, and we could go to the park, and it was really good. So for me, it just seemed to fit, and I went to my discovery morning and speaking to the franchisees, I just loved it, and I thought, oh my God, I want to do this so much. So for me, it just seemed to fall into place really, really quickly, and all from a party invitation. So I was really excited.
Yeah, I think a similar story from me. For a long time now, ever since I had my second child, I knew I had to do something else, but I just didn't know what I needed to do. And I kept on putting it off and putting it off and looking at other avenues, but thinking, what am I good at? What can I do? What qualifications do I have? And everything I looked at I don't know, I just kept putting it off. And then one day I went to work and I came home and I'd forgotten that Riley had his like nursery sing song where they invite all the adults to come, and it's like a concert, and they do it, I think it was Christmas, they do it at Christmas, Easter, harvest, etc. And he said to me, Mummy, why weren't you at my concert? And I was like, I'm sorry darling, I missed it. He goes, promise you'll never miss another one. And then I thought, no, I can't miss these. And doing the job that I was doing, there was no guarantee that I could be there at school times, at school concerts, so I knew from then things had to change. And I think I just was on the internet and I was looking at franchises, and this one came up, and there's not a lot in Scotland, so I'd never heard of it. But it was like, again, a light bulb moment when I saw it. I thought, this is me, like I'm already creative, covered in glue, the artwork's all over the house, and it was like, this is me. And straight away I was emailing it to my mother-in-law, my mum, saying, oh my goodness,
What do you
can you
think?
believe this is, they were like, that's made for you. So from then on I knew I was going to do it, but it's just been quite a slow process because I couldn't just afford to give up my job. I had to work for a few months, so like my discovery morning was back in January, and since then it's just been trying to get organised financially, you know, putting the word out there so people knew that I was coming. And so I am.
Oh, all you young mums, mine's quite different really, because my children have all grown up. But it's this next generation that's probably led me here, because I spent most of my working career in education and training, and ran a charity for over 12 years. And so I've more or less sort of worked for myself in many ways. But when my grandson was born 4 years ago, and then another one followed a year after that, and then there's another one, and now there's 2 more on the way, I really felt that I wanted to spend time with them. So really meant working part-time, because I still wanted to work. I just found it really difficult as being a CEO of a large charity and well known to try and find a part-time admin job. Every time I sent out my CV, I got nothing back. So, you know, my son suggested, well, why don't you do something for yourself? But I did own my own business when my children were very small. I used to own a deli. It's quite lonely owning your own business because you're full on with that, but I think what I didn't have then, which is important to me now, is to have the support network around me, but still for me to be able to do my own thing, but still to have a business family around me who understand the things that I'm going through or work, issues, etc., that will be able to support me. And so therefore I thought franchise opportunity was a possibility, but they were still pushing me towards play centres, opening a play centre and soft play centre, I think, so they could all go, I think, and they wouldn't have to spend a fortune. But that, the capital outlay, sort of at my time of life, I felt was just a bridge too far. So again, that was another attraction of a franchise opportunity. But I'm also very a stickler for quality and values and things that it's more than just a business. And when my daughter and I went to the Discovery Day, just the values and the quality just shone out. I mean, it was just, you know, you just felt, yeah, that is something that I could sign up for and be part of and feel comfortable in that skin. I also wanted something, having spent years sitting on my bottom at a desk or in meetings, I wanted something that you could get out and have some fun. So having fun, earning money, doing something around my grandchildren and flexible hours is just right on.
Mine kind of happened really fast, really. I think it was February. I was at home, little boy was at nursery, my other boy was at school, and I was a bit fed up wandering around the house, and I need to get out, I need to do something, I need to get motivated and have a reason to live rather than just waiting for my children to come home. So I started looking on the internet for franchises, didn't really know what I wanted to do, saw the Splat, and that really caught my eye. I had obviously investigated the company and what the mothers were saying and the children and the classes, where they were being held. And it was in the school day, so I'd be able to take my children to school and pick them up, and went to the Discovery Day, and it was absolutely amazing. I was so impressed with the reputation, the quality, what the franchisees said, how they fitted their work-life balance around their children, and how from doing that I asked them would they do it again, and they all said yes, definitely, and they thought it was the best thing that could have happened to them. And then I was just waiting to see if I was lucky to be awarded the franchise. And I was, so now I'm here. Thank you very much.
So, my story, I've made Creation Station while I was looking for activities for my daughter. This was last year. And then in the meantime, I've been at home just more or less 3 years, just educating my child. But then the biggest reason I'm doing this is actually for my dad. I'm going to explain the story. So the truth is, my family is very academic, and they've always worked. And I start thinking, why I'm just sitting at home? Why I'm just one day my daughter will look at me and say, why is my mum just a staying at home mum? And I've always worked until 3 years ago, and then I thought I really need to go out there and do something, and that is more or less why I've thought. I've looked at Creation Station, and I saw that they were doing franchises, and I thought it was really good.